Hey guys, so we got big news. Gemini 2.5, our most intelligent models, are getting even better. And that's putting it lightly. And also they are doing pretty frequent updates, unlike many others that are possibly releasing a few times per year. And their new Gemini 2.5 Pro model that released like 2 weeks ago, that was a slight improvement upon the previous model. Already trumped O3, but now they have Gemini 2.5 Pro with DeepThink, and you gotta keep in mind that these are the strongest competitors, and the score gap is just insane. But even coding-wise, it is the best. So if you got stuck with something, I guess we got the new LLM to possibly try to fix it with. Maybe that's the new strat. Just if you get stuck, just wait for the new AI to come out. But that is not all. Apparently, vibe coding is now a coined phrase, so you can just vibe code whatever you want. Growth level, sure. Simulation with Gemini 2.5 Pro. And we can see that even without DeepThink, it's only second, in some cases, to OpenAI O3. While it can do more, cheaper, and supports higher context. That's pretty important. Albeit solving random problems doesn't necessarily transfer exactly to getting the work done. So we can see that O3 in this case is even behind R1, and Gemini 2.5 Pro dominates the web dev arena leaderboard. And we can see Gemini 2.5 Flash, the new version, coming up. And it's a massive improvement, but we're going to talk about it in detail later. While Chatbot Arena has the new Gemini 2.5 Pro at first place, and the new Gemini 2.5 Flash that came out today at second place, which is a massive improvement compared to its previous position. But personally, I'm a little bit more interested in the new Flash, which is apparently is our most efficient workhorse model designed for speed and low cost, which is not even better, and apparently uses 25% on average less tokens than before. And not only a crazy improvement upon the previous model, although this is the Gemini 2.0 Flash version, they had the Gemini 2.5 Flash, the previous version, that was pretty okay too. But this one is even smarter. And its performance puts it in a league of O4 Mini, Claude 3.7 Sonnet, Grok 3, and DeepSeek R1. They are claiming 62% on Aether, which is kind of like O1 level. Albeit I would say it's kind of hard to tell which benchmark is the most relevant for you, because we can see that on the web dev arena, it is taking third place. So if this is your use case, then this is clearly going to be more useful for you, but it might be less impressive in some other use cases, most notably niche ones. And price-wise, it's clearly in a different tier. We can see that 0.15 in and 0.6 out, unlike the others that are quite pricey. Yet even if we consider the reasoning price, it still would be the cheapest, with the exception of DeepSeek, although at this point, it is somewhat less impressive right now. And I would say that DeepSeek does have one possible flaw when you use it, is that thinking takes time, right? So if you're just grinding problems with DeepSeek and you're not there, not a problem. But if you just want the user experience, then it is a better experience to use something like Gemini 2.5 Flash, because you ask a question, boom, it's done. You ask a question, boom, it's done. And we can see that the Gemini 2.5 Flash has the highest output token speed, which honestly feels amazing, and it's really hard to go back after you had it. I think one interesting point is that we can see that Gemini 2.5 Flash could struggle against like O4 Mini in some cases, maybe Grok 3, otherwise it's kind of beating the competition. But, and this is extremely important, in long context, even 128K, it is better than anything out there. So if you're dealing with rather large context, especially if it's over like 200K and even like over 128K, because at that point, the other models can't even see it. So they're just gonna output garbage. But don't think of it like, oh, it can do it totally fine, and after one more token, it just completely breaks. No, it tends to give you worse responses as it approaches its context window. As we can see that even the Gemini 2.5 Flash, the new version, has a lower score. And even the previous one had a much lower score. The reason I'm emphasizing this, because especially with the 128K, but even the 200K models, if you have like a medium-sized project and you're trying to use it, you might just blow your leg off. It is possibly not useful. Of course, it depends on how interconnected the project is. But at the very least, this is something you should consider. And going back to the web dev arena, it's gonna be really hard to justify using anything but the Gemini 2.5 Flash, or maybe the Gemini 2.5 Pro. Albeit I would argue that if you're not getting stuck, then Flash is probably a better choice. Especially possibly because of the price, but also it's just faster. And of course, you can use it for free in their chat, but it is better than that. And the new setting they have is that you can set the thinking budget, set the thinking mode, and you can also browse URL context. But the interesting part is that, and this is not a new thing, that you have 500 free uses per day. So you don't have to pay for that. And this is not inside this chat, but you can just get the API key and use it in VS Code, for example. You even get 25 free messages with the Gemini 2.5 Pro. Albeit I didn't have any luck with it recently. When I tried to use it, it just said to me that I've already used it up. So suppose you use VS Code, then you can just use RuCode or Klein extension and add Google Gemini as a provider with the API key, then select the right model. It is currently not available. It might take a day to be available, but they're usually updating pretty frequently. Special mention might go to the Gemini Code Assist extension, although I'm not sure which version they have in it. Maybe it's the old one, but if it's the new one, then it could be a free coder that actually has the third best AI right now, at least for web development. But even if not, you have 500 free messages per day. And even if you add your credit card, it just means you don't have to pay for pretty much most of your requests, and you don't get rate limited at all. If you don't need intelligence at all, then it might not make sense to use Gemini 2.5 Flash, although it still would be a great choice because it's pretty cheap. But when it comes to actually intelligent models, well, Google just has the market, right? Because Gemini 2.5 Flash is cheaper than everything that follows it. I can't really, well, I guess it's just as, well, the same price as the previous version, but we would need to go down quite a bit. So yeah, even that is more expensive. So we'd have to go down to the level of Gemini 2.0 Flash. And that would be its next competitor, although it would be completely irrelevant. And Claude 3.7 Sonnet is already, well, worse and also more expensive than Gemini 2.5 Pro. And the main aspirant to watch out for would be DeepSeek R2, because apparently it's gonna be 0.09 and 0.27 out. So effectively it's gonna cost half as much as the current Gemini 2.5 Flash. And I will also make a slight detour to GitHub Copilot, which has a pretty embarrassing selection here. Gemini 2 Flash, Claude 3.5. I'm not even sure why that is a thing. Why have it there? So they are locking Claude 3.7 Sonnet behind their paywall. I used to have it, but they actually time you out if you use it normally, so it's not that useful. But as far as I know, only O1 and Claude 3.7 Sonnet are locked behind the paywall. But these basic options are not that great. And they're kind of meant to be used on the regular GPT 4.1. But the reason I'm mentioning this, because this is the first time where the free option is not only amazing, but it's literally the best. Unless we are considering Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is amazing, no doubt, but I'm not sure that is what you should be using just constantly. And truly the only other uses I can think of is that possibly you need a bigger output, in which case it's not gonna be your choice, but that would be a very niche use case. So I never needed that before, but maybe if you wanna one-shot generate books, then maybe. And the only other would be that despite calling it a workhorse, it certainly can be a workhorse. I'm not saying that, but price-wise, it's kind of getting into the mid-range now. And the only other option you have within Google would be the Gemini 1.5 Flash 8B. So this would be essentially half the price of the new Gemini 2.5 Flash, but it would not really make sense to use it, because even if I bring up like a Llama 4 Scout, then we can see that it is significantly cheaper. So simply said, they're actually kind of making their Flash model a mid-range one, and the Pro model is absolutely on the high end. So they are now personally kind of lacking something cheap, the cheapest. It's absolutely not my problem, just making note. Because if you don't need the indulgence, then you really shouldn't be paying this much. But it's absolutely worth the money, and you can use it 500 times per day for free. Or more if Gemini Code Assist has it, but I kind of prefer Klein and Root Code. So that's it.